Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining us for New Frontier Data's live demo of Equio, the cannabis industry's most powerful business intelligence platform. Today's demo will be presented by our founder and CEO, Giadha Aguirre de Carcer. And our agenda for today will start off with a brief introduction, some insight into who New Frontier Data is and shedding some light on why we entered the cannabis industry, followed by a deep dive into a top-to-bottom demo by Giadha of our industry platform, Equio. We'll wrap it up with our contact information and any questions you may have, including your code for your free 2017 Industry Quick Guide. Without further ado, Giadha.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for taking the time on a busy Friday before the holidays to learn a little bit more about what is it that we do at New Frontier Data and how does our digital platform help you. I am Giadha Aguirre de Carcer. I'm the founder and CEO of New Frontier Data. Guilty for having thought of the fact that this emerging market was probably going to need data and analytics to begin to grow in a healthy manner. I'm excited to be sharing this with you today, but before I do so, I was hoping you could tell me who we have on the call. Reason being is I'd like to target the information we provide in a meaningful way to you in particular. So I'm going to launch a quick poll. And if you don't mind just answering whether you may be an investor in the industry, a researcher, academic, policymaker or regulator, maybe someone in the ancillary services, member of the media or press, someone running a business already in the industry, or someone else. Interestingly enough, each of these categories, individuals from across these categories would all benefit from the information. I just want to make sure that I geared the demo in a way that speaks to you. Let's see. Looks like most of you have voted, and it looks like today we have primarily folks, owner-operators in the industry already running cannabis companies, followed by quite a few individuals looking to invest, and then other. So that gives me a little bit of visibility into who you are, and much appreciate you taking the time to letting us know. I'm going to leave the poll up for a few more seconds. And then I am gonna close it up. Let's see. All right, good, very helpful. Thank you so much. All right, well, let me tell you a little bit more about what we do. New Frontier Data is today the leading report publisher in the cannabis industry. And in fact, that's how we've been known for the past few years. But truth be told is, while our reports are one of the, in fact, our reports are in about 68 countries today, that is not all we do. We are, at our core, a big data company. What that means is we are at our core a technology platform that is geared at ingesting information from every corner of the industry to aggregate it and centralize it, and then turn it into something meaningful to you, and ultimately turn it into business intelligence that stakeholders can use to be more profitable and continue to have a competitive edge, as well as identify risk and opportunities in this sector. As you can see in the slide above you, we are in over 68 countries. We have an effective meter reach of about 4.4 billion, actually 4.8 billion today, which means we are the most quoted data source in the industry globally. One of the things that makes us unique, again, is the fact that rather than just collecting information from one particular bucket or source, we collect millions of data points per second across a government agency, public sources, private sources through partnerships. And so literally hundreds of data sources that allow us to then aggregate the information in one centralized manner and come up and synthesize it and come up with much more granular and accurate insight. There is one particular model that I like to discuss with anyone new to in terms of first contact with our company. I am a recovering investment banker, but at heart, I'm an analyst. I've been an analyst for 20 years, and I've had the opportunity to look at industries ranging from technology, defense, energy, the liquor industry. I'm going to stop because I'm aging myself. But the point being that all of the models that us analysts apply in mature industry tragically do not apply to this one. The cannabis industry is one that has medical, recreational, and industrial application. And because of its diverse application, standard modeling that allow predictions and projections in mature industries to not work here. So we had to come up with a brand new model. How do we predict here? And so what we've done is what we like to talk the five dimensions of the cannabis industry. So we literally are sourcing from and streaming information from sources from the federal government, from state and local governments, from consumers, from the ancillary sectors through hundreds of partnerships, as well as from the industry itself, so producers, processors, and retailers. And we put all of that together into our Equio platform to then come up with indices, risk indicators, and viable intelligence for you. And now, rather than talking a little bit more about it, why don't I show you? Well, actually, I guess I should mention this. We are the only company in the industry that has accurately predicted market fluctuations in a quantifiable manner for the past 3 years in a row. And again, a testament to the model and the very smart individuals in the company, but also the model and the massive and the massive amount of data that we collect and the diversity of that data set. So let me then jump into the Equio presentation. So I'm going to log in. So this is our Equio platform. Equio, incidentally, for those who may not know, means from the horse's mouth, tongue-in-cheek. Our logo is a horse, so we do like to provide you information coming right from the horse's mouth. All right, so Equio's essential subscription. Biggest value of this platform is that it saves you hours and hours and hours of searching the internet, reaching out to sources, then trying to figure out if the source of the data you're looking at is a viable source. Not to mention, what sets of information do you actually need to look at in order to stay ahead of what is happening in the cannabis industry. And any of you that have been in it for longer than a few months, you realize that it does move at the speed of light. So catching up and staying ahead is not easy. So what we've done here is we have identified the streams of information that are required for any stakeholder in the industry to stay on top of. We've vetted the sources, and then we've visualized it and centralized it in one easy place for you to access so that you have all you need at your fingertips. So I'm going to give you a top-down overview of what is this information and what can it do for you. And you'll see that it's a mix of quantitative information as well as qualitative. So first and foremost, starting from public markets, yes, cannabis is not necessarily yet traded in massive volumes, but there are over 110 companies, cannabis companies that are traded in the US and Canada. So here on top, you have a full streaming ticker of all the traded stock today. And you can also look at sort of that in any individual publicly traded company and look at look at sort of how they've been performing. So that's the first thing that we give you. Second, looking at top left to right, we realize that the industry has massive overflow information. And unfortunately, as is true and across other industries as well, but mostly in this one, there is massive amount of misinformation. We ourselves spend a lot of time looking through news and news sources to try to triage what is good information versus bad information. And we've realized that our customers have the same challenges. So we provide Cannabis Insight Daily, which you could also get through your email daily, or you can log into the Equio platform, which is the 5 most pertinent and materially impactful news to you stakeholders in the industry. What is important for you every day to know? And we aggregate them right here. We give you a little synopsis of the news. You can read them, you can link them, and they're also prioritized by what is most material to you. Second, we provide you a reference tool so that you can keep track of what's happening across the United States. And I'm happy to inform that as of January, we are going to be following the entire global market. So instead of seeing the US map, come January, you will see a global map. I'm sure you all know there are dozens of countries around the world that are legalizing almost overnight. And it's good for us to keep an eye on what's happening there. But as you hover over each of the states, you'll see whether they're medical or adult use legal, when they legalize, the size of the market today in terms of sales, as well as projected sales up to 2025. Excuse me. As well, when it became legal and if there have been any changes in policy since. Moving on to the right, we're very happy to partner with some leaders in the industry, including MGI News. If you wanted to have access to a larger funnel of information, and this is primarily of interest to investors, we do provide full streaming of MGI News a newsfeed, which is primarily targeting investment and investors in the industry. Moving on, scrolling down, here on the right, one of the things that we do regularly, and any of you that have purchased our reports know this, we constantly project market sizing, market segmentation, and project sort of the growth of the market. We divide the industry into medical and adult use, of course, and here we give you current market size as well as total, as well as projected numbers for 2025. These numbers are regularly updated. As more states come online, as well as regulation changes, as pricing changes, demand changes, we constantly adjust these numbers to provide you with the most accurate estimates to date. Moving on to the right, one of the things that's extremely important for cultivators, but also for retailers, for those of you that retail, you may want to understand fluctuation of cultivation prices, of wholesale prices. Obviously for cultivators, because it impacts your selling price and what you're going out in the market with, but for you retailers and processors, it is associated to your cost. So especially at the end of the year, as you continue to budget and project for next year's, these are the types of benchmarks that you may want to have a hold on. So here you see spot prices on wholesale by grow type, as well as by medical versus adult use. We look at a division of spot prices per, as you can scroll here, indoor index prices, greenhouse, as well as outdoor, and then total average. By month, you can also click on a particular change, whether it's up or down, and then actually get a little more granular historical information on how the particular wholesale spot price has fluctuated, thus giving you an indication of how it may continue to trend in the future. Same here, where you have adult use versus medical use, depending on whether you're running in a medical state or an adult use state, or whether you have a dispensary, medical practice versus a recreational practice. You can also check prices as well here. And as you can see, interestingly enough, a lot more fluctuation on when you look at a medical versus adult. But these are good, again, reference tools to keep on track of your cost structure, or if you're in cultivation, to keep track of what is happening in the marketplace overall and how you should price your own product. Moving on to the bottom, cannabis. Now, cannabis is probably one of our most popular products. Every Sunday at around 2 p.m. Eastern, we put out one bit of cannabis information. As I said, we do have a massive amount of data that we triage constantly. In fact, I believe that as of today, we've only activated about 30% of the data that we hold. So we're constantly making correlations and analyzing information to provide you new insight. And on Sundays, we share one insight with you for free that we believe is pertinent and timely to the industry. Excuse me. So you can see we visualize it. We try to make it digestible and fun to look at. And you can imagine, as data geeks, not all data is exciting, so we try here. And then we give you a quick synopsis of the analytics. Through the Essential Equio subscription, you're able to search through a variety of cannabis and look through them. And if you wanted to repurpose them in some way, use them internally, you would be able to do so. Another interesting tool that has been of most interest to companies looking to partner across the industry, as well as investors looking to address the risk, risk or opportunity of some of these companies. Mind you, right now, we're a company, primarily publicly traded companies, but in the future, we're also looking to cover a privately held company. We have access to about 1,000 or so companies. It's just a matter of bandwidth. But through the Essential subscription, right here under Industry Company Profiles, you can browse through our very succinct analysis of each of these companies. In this case, imagine that I clicked on Canopy Growth. I'm sure many of you are familiar with it, publicly traded cultivation company in Canada. What we do is we give you basically a 3-page overview of everything that you should know as a cursory, very high-level due diligence before you decide to move forward, whether it's to partner, invest, or in some cases acquire. So we show you where the companies fall in terms of the segment of the industry, at what stage of growth the company is. We look at risk factors such as management, strength of their experience, funding, how much money have they been able to raise, partnerships, as you know, in this industry, strength in numbers, and, do they have strong alliances that will, that seem to indicate that will continue to resist what is coming, which we all think is going to be interesting. Their offerings, so their solution, their products and services, and the strength of those products and services compared to competitors in analogous services, overall strategic positioning, and at the end, for those interested in that, investment risk. We then go on to position the company in what we call sort of an axis of competitors. So you see what other companies may be similar. We give you a little bit of information about that industry segment in particular, as well as look at their corporate structure, general business information if you want to reach out and do further due diligence, as well as a summary of the business itself, and the management, which are all important indicators. And as I mentioned, we currently do that for all publicly traded companies, but we will in the future, I'm hoping as of Q1 of next year, you will also be able to start seeing profiles on privately held companies. And last but not least, on the bottom right corner, we have a list of all of our reports. At this point, I'm actually, it's incredible. Of only 3 years, we have dozens of reports. We cover every state that is legal, but we also look at particular industry segment and oftentimes particular topics that are, again, timely and important. For instance, energy. We're also about to put out a report about taxation and the impact of taxation, especially with California coming online. And so, you can browse through all of the reports we have here, and then you can view for free all summaries as part of the subscription and get an overview. If you wanted to purchase the full report, you can also do so here. And this is an overview of the essential level of the Equio subscription. Each of you on this demo today is here because you have either signed up to Equio or you have purchased one of our reports in the past. And as such, you're also, as we now have about 20,000 subscribers to this platform, we have been providing the services for free for now 2 years. And we are now finally converting to a discounted price for you, and then we'll go live as of January with our full pricing. So for those of you that are not aware, the platform will be going out for $100 a month, which is, I think, quite economical. For those of you who have already signed up and were part of our beta testers, we thank you for being patient with you, and you will have a guaranteed price of $49 a month in perpetuity, regardless of what new widgets and information we add to it. I'd like also to put in a little plug for those of you that need more information, for those of you looking to raise money in the industry, for those of you that need to repurpose information and analytics that we may have provided. We do have all of the other levels of subscription, including a premium level that gives you access to all of our report library and the ability to repurpose the information in that library, as well as an enterprise solution, which is usually geared to those trading in pharma, alcohol, and tobacco who are looking to understand the impact of cannabis into those more mature sectors via indices and other KPIs and risk indicators. And that covers the overview of Equio today. I know I've given a lot of information. I understand that we probably are going to have some questions now. So why don't we open it up to question? Morgan, do you want to help with that?
Well, absolutely. If you see on the bottom of your screen the Q&A section, if anybody has any questions, please feel free to enter them there. We can certainly answer them here, or if you had any follow-up questions, we will be leaving our contact information up on the last slide after presentation. So as of now, it seems like we don't have any questions, but as you can see right here is our contact information. So please feel free to email me directly, mrappaport@newfrontierdata.com. And if you're interested in your redeeming your free quick guide, please head over to newfrontierdata.com/quick guides. I'm going to be putting that link in the chat right now, and enter code Equio quick guide at checkout. We'll leave this screen up for a bit, and I thank you all for joining us for our Equio demo today. So thank you.
Thank you, everyone, and wishing everyone a wonderful end of the year and a very successful year in the cannabis industry in 2018. Thank you. I am going to jump back in because questions started coming in, so I want to at least honor those that may still be here. We have one question on the wholesale pricing. Do you break this up by flower and trim? Not yet. We will be breaking it down by state, however, because right now we give you a national average, but it will be at a higher level of subscription. But no, I'm afraid not. No pricing detail between flower and trim. Well, if there aren't any more questions, again, thank you, and we are going to end the session now. Thank you again. Thank you, Morgan.